A moment can change everything at Heartland, and in Season 19, Episode 4, that moment arrives without warning. No hints, no time to prepare, just a quiet scene that suddenly turns into the loss no one was ready for. A death that leaves the ranch shaken, the family broken, and fans speechless. This episode doesn't just surprise you, it hits you like a storm you never saw coming. And once it happens, nothing at Heartland feels the same again. Season 19, Episode 4 begins with a strange stillness at Heartland. It's the kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like the air is trying to warn you. The ranch looks the same, the horses move with their usual grace, the family goes through their morning routines, but something in the atmosphere feels off. As viewers, we can't point to one single thing, yet deep down it's clear that trouble is coming. The episode builds this tension with small details. The ones you don't notice at first, but later, they echo loudly. Amy is the first to sense it. She stands outside the barn, watching one of the horses hesitate before walking toward her. Amy smiles, but the horse doesn't move. It's as if the animal feels something in the wind, something heavy that Amy hasn't realized yet. She brushes it off and goes back to work, but that small moment lingers. Inside the house, Jack moves slower than usual. He pauses at the kitchen table, staring at an old photo for just a second too long. It's not clear why he's doing it, but his expression carries a quiet sadness. It feels like he knows something is about to change, even if he can't explain how or why. He puts the picture back and forces a smile when Lou walks in. But that silent look stays with you. Meanwhile, Lou is distracted. She reads a message on her phone with a worried face, then quickly hides it when someone steps into the room. Lou tries to act normal, but her mind is somewhere else, somewhere heavy. There's a tension in her voice, soft but noticeable. She tries to brush it away, telling herself there's work to do. But the unease still sits on her shoulders. Even the weather adds to the feeling. The sky is bright but pale, like the sun is struggling to shine. The wind is gentle, yet it carries a cold bite, as if the season is shifting too fast. Heartland has always used nature to mirror emotion, and this episode leans into it strongly. Something is wrong, you can feel it long before the characters do. These moments don't scream danger, they whisper it. Little signs, small pauses, quiet glances, all of them forming a slow, painful buildup. Because in Episode 4, the tragedy doesn't hit suddenly out of nowhere. It first arrives as a whisper, it's a storm before the silence. There are episodes where the tragedy strikes without a single warning. But Episode 4 isn't one of them. The signs were there, scattered in small moments that felt normal at first glance. But now when you look back, every detail feels like a quiet alarm. Heartland has always used subtlety to speak the loudest truths, and in this episode, those truths slowly creep in through the cracks of everyday life. It starts with a conversation that doesn't feel important at first. Tim meets someone near the trailer, and instead of his usual bold attitude, he's strangely gentle. His voice is lower, his words slower. He talks about making things right, about not taking people for granted. At the time, it seems like Tim being reflective, something he does every now and then. But now, in the shadow of what's coming, that moment feels like a soft goodbye wrapped in casual dialogue. A message we didn't understand until later. Then there's the scene with Jack in the barn. He leans against a post, watching the dust float through the sunlight. It's a quiet scene, almost peaceful, but the way he stands there feels heavy. He rubs his hands together slowly, like he's trying to keep them warm, even though the barn isn't cold. He sighs, not the tired kind, but the kind that carries years of memories. It feels like he's reliving something only he can see, a memory, a regret, or maybe a fear he can't push away. Jack has always been the heart of the ranch, but in this moment, he looks more fragile than he ever has. Amy also senses something she can't name. She's brushing one of the horses when the animal pulls back suddenly. Ears pinned, eyes flicking toward the open field as if it hears something far away. Amy tries to calm it, but the horse refuses to settle. Animals in Heartland often react to emotions the characters haven't spoken aloud. This time, the horse feels the shift before Amy does. That single moment adds a deeper layer of tension. a warning delivered by instinct rather than words. Lou's moment is different. She's in her office, flipping through papers, but suddenly, she stops. She looks out the window and whispers something under her breath, something the audience can't hear. Her eyes soften, almost breaking for a moment. Whatever she's thinking about, it clearly hurts. But she wipes her face, straightens her shoulders, and pretends everything is fine. Lou hides her emotions better than most characters, but this time, even she can't hide the trembling breath she lets out before getting back to work. These scenes don't push the story forward in obvious ways. Instead, they create a feeling, a quiet pressure building beneath the surface. A sense that something is slipping, cracking, changing. Heartland usually balances drama with warmth, but in this episode, the warmth feels thin, fragile, like one wrong moment could turn it cold. And that's exactly what happens next. Because these gentle warnings aren't random. They are the soft footsteps of a tragedy walking closer and closer. Long before anyone realizes it's already inside the ranch, there are days when everything feels so normal that you don't even think twice about it. But sometimes, that normal is the biggest warning of all. Episode 4 builds its tension by giving Heartland a day that looks peaceful on the outside, while something breaks quietly underneath. It's the calm that pretends to be harmless, the kind of calm that almost feels intentional, like the world is trying to distract everyone from what's really coming. The morning begins with laughter. Soft, gentle laughter that echoes through the kitchen as Amy and Jack share a small joke. It's not a big, loud moment. It's simple, warm, the kind of scene Heartland fans love. But it feels different this time. The smile on Jack's face looks a little too forced, and Amy's laugh trails off too quickly. There's a split second of silence afterward. A silence that hangs in the air like a question no one wants to ask. The horses act strangely too, but not in a dramatic way. They're calm to calm. Standing still, ears flicking, eyes following the family with unusual focus. Heartland horses usually mirror the characters' emotions, but here, they don't match anything. The family is busy, distracted, moving around as if it's just another day. But the horses seem to be waiting, watching, almost guarding. It's a small detail, easy to miss. But it adds a layer of unease to every scene. Lou tries to push the day forward with her usual determination. She's handling schedules, sending emails, making calls. Everything looks normal until she suddenly sits down, closing her eyes like she's dizzy. She opens them a moment later and keeps working, pretending nothing happened. But the audience can see it. Something inside her is unsettled. Something she doesn't want to face yet. Tim is restless. He walks across the ranch with quick steps, starting conversations he doesn't finish, giving orders he never checks on. It feels like he's trying to distract himself, like he's trying to outrun a thought he doesn't want to think. He stops at the fence line for a moment, gripping the wooden rail tightly. His eyes drift across the fields, searching for something or someone that isn't there. Then he shakes his head and walks away, faster than before. Even the sky refuses to stay steady. One minute the sun shines bright, the next a thin cloud covers it, dimming the ranch in a way that feels too sudden to be natural. The light flickers softly across the fields, casting shadows that stretch a little too far, a little too dark. It's a quiet reminder that not every sunny day brings good news. All these tiny, almost invisible moments stack on top of each other until the day feels strangely heavy. Not dramatic, not chaotic. Just heavy, like the ranch is breathing in deeply, holding something back, waiting for the right moment to release the truth. But the saddest part is this: the characters don't see it. They're living inside the calm, trusting it, believing it means everything is fine. But the audience knows better. This normal day is not safe at all. It's the kind of day that appears right before everything breaks. Every tragedy has a moment when time seems to hesitate. A moment when sound fades, movement slows, and the world becomes painfully still. Episode 4 reaches that moment with a scene so quiet, so gentle, that it feels impossible to imagine what's about to happen next. This is the turning point, the split second when everything at Heartland shifts. Even though no one realizes it yet, it begins with an ordinary task. A simple ride out to the far pasture. Nothing dangerous, nothing unusual. Jack insists on checking something himself, a loose fence, a wandering horse, a routine problem that usually means nothing. He saddles up with that calm confidence he's always had. Amy asks if he needs help, but Jack just gives her a small smile, the kind of warm smile he's given for years, the kind that says, "Don't worry, I've got this." It's a smile that now feels like a quiet goodbye hidden inside a familiar gesture. As Jack rides out, the ranch feels strangely empty. The wind slows. The trees barely move. Even the birds that always call from the fence posts are silent. It's as if Heartland itself is holding its breath. The camera follows Jack from a distance, not close enough to see every detail, but close enough to feel the weight in his posture. He sits a little deeper in the saddle, as though he's tired, or maybe thoughtful, or maybe sensing something he can't explain. Back at the ranch, Amy pauses mid-step. She doesn't know why, but she stops and looks out toward the open fields. Her eyes follow the direction Jack rode off in. She frowns slightly. The kind of frown that comes from instinct, not fear. A quiet concern she can't put into words. She brushes the feeling away, telling herself she's overthinking. But the tension lingers behind her eyes. Lou, meanwhile, drops a pen on her desk and stares at the window. Her expression changes just a tiny shift, like her heart stumbles for a beat. She tries to shake it off, telling herself it's stress, nothing more. But her breath comes a little slower afterward. Even Tim stops what he's doing. He's outside, pacing as usual, but suddenly he freezes and looks toward the horizon. His jaw tightens. He mutters something under his breath, as if trying to convince himself that everything is fine. But his body betrays him. His shoulders stiffen, his fists clench, and a shadow crosses his face. Meanwhile, Jack reaches the far pasture. He dismounts slowly, patting his horse's neck. The air around him feels heavier, the silence deeper. He walks toward the fence line with a steady but tired step. For a moment, everything seems perfectly calm, almost peaceful, and that's what makes it so heartbreaking. Because peace is the last thing coming. This is the moment before the world goes quiet in a different way, not soft quiet, but the kind that steals breath, breaks routine, and shatters every sense of safety the family thought they had. This is the final calm, the last breath before the tragedy finally steps into the light. Some moments don't build slowly. Some moments don't knock, don't warn, don't give anyone a chance to breathe. They arrive like lightning, bright, sharp, and devastating. That is exactly how the tragedy in episode 4 strikes. Not with loud music or dramatic shouting, but with a sudden collapse of the world everyone thought was steady. It hits fast, leaving the screen heavy with a silence that feels impossible to escape. Jack is still at the far pasture when it happens. He checks the fence, adjusts a loose board, and gives a small, satisfied nod. Everything looks fine. Everything looks safe. He steps back toward his horse with a tired smile, as if ready to head home. But then, something changes. His hand slips. His foot hesitates. His breath catches in a way that doesn't look normal. It's small, almost invisible, but it's the kind of moment that makes your heart drop without knowing why. He reaches for the saddle horn, but before he can grab it, his legs weaken. His body sways. There's a second, just 1 second, where he tries to steady himself. Then he falls. No cry, no warning. Just Jack collapsing onto the quiet earth beneath him. His hat rolls away, the wind barely touching it. The scene is so silent that the sound of his fall feels louder than anything else in the episode. Back at the ranch, Amy instantly feels something break inside her. She's in the middle of brushing a horse when her hand stops mid-stroke. Her eyes widen, unfocused, like she's trying to hear something far away. Her breath trembles. She whispers, "Jack." Without knowing why, the horse lifts its head sharply, ears pinned, as if sensing the same thing. Lou, still at her desk, drops the papers she's holding. Her hands shake. She presses a hand to her chest, as if something suddenly weighs on her. Her eyes fill, though she doesn't know with what. She whispers, "No." not now. The fear in her voice is too real, too raw, too sudden. Tim is the first to move. He starts running toward the fields without thinking, without a reason he can explain. Something inside him tells him that something is wrong, terribly wrong. His boots pound against the dirt, his breath growing harsh. The sky above him, dimming as clouds pull together, the show cuts to Jack lying in the pasture. Still and quiet, his horse standing beside him, nudging him gently, confused and worried. The shot lingers painfully long, forcing the viewer to feel the weight of this moment. There's no dramatic music, no shouting, just the low sound of wind moving through the grass. It's the kind of silence that breaks you more than any noise could. The tragedy arrives with one simple, heartbreaking truth: Jack is gone, and the world of Heartland, a world built on warmth, love, and history, suddenly feels colder than ever before. This is the moment the ranch loses its anchor. In the moment the family loses the man who held them together, grief doesn't arrive slowly. It crashes. It floods. It tears through every part of a person's life without asking permission. And in episode 4, the moment the family learns about Jack changes the ranch in a way that feels permanent. The shock doesn't spread one person at a time, it hits everyone at once. Like a wave breaking across the land they all love, Tim is the first to reach him. He falls to his knees beside Jack, calling his name over and over, his voice cracking in a way we rarely hear. For a man who always tries to act strong, Tim suddenly looks small, like a child who just lost the adult he trusted most. His hands shake as he lifts Jack's hat from the grass. He doesn't speak after that. He just stares. Because sometimes silence is the only thing a broken heart can manage. The moment Amy arrives, the air shifts again. She doesn't scream. She doesn't rush. She simply walks toward Jack as if moving through water. Her steps slow, heavy, unreal. When she reaches him, her legs almost give out. She touches his hand gently, as if afraid he might break. She whispers, "Please, not you," in a voice so soft it barely exists. Her tears fall quietly, not the loud kind, the kind that come from a pain too deep to understand. Lou's reaction is different. She doesn't cry at first. She freezes. Her eyes lock onto Jack from a distance, and she can't move. It's as if her body refuses to accept what she's seeing. When she finally steps closer, she looks around the ranch, the fields, the sky. The horses, like she's searching for a reason, a sign, anything that makes sense. But nothing does. She covers her mouth with her hand as reality sinks in. The first tear slips down her cheek. Back at the barn, the horses begin to stir. They sense the loss in the air. One horse lets out a sharp cry, another paws the ground, and a third refuses to eat. It's subtle, but powerful. Heartland has always shown how deeply animals connect to the family, and in this moment, it's clear they feel the shift too. It's as if the ranch itself knows something irreplaceable is gone. When they finally bring Jack home, the silence is overwhelming. No one speaks the whole way back. They don't need to. The silence says everything. The heartbreak, the disbelief, the shock. In the yard, Amy breaks down completely. She leans into Lou. The two sisters hold on to each other as if they'll fall apart if they let go. Inside the house, Jack's empty chair becomes the loudest symbol of all. Lou stares at it for a long time, unable to sit, unable to look away. Tim stands in the doorway, wiping his face quickly like he's trying to hide the tears, even though everyone already sees them. Amy lays Jack's hat on the table, her hand trembling as she pulls away. This is the moment when the ranch feels different. Not because Jack is gone, but because the world feels heavier without him. His absence is a weight none of them know how to carry. The family that always found strength in each other suddenly feels lost. Because losing someone like Jack isn't just losing a person. It's losing the heart of Heartland itself. Life at Heartland has survived storms, accidents, conflict, and heartbreak before. But Jack's loss leaves a silence so deep, it feels like the ranch itself has stopped breathing. Episode 4 ends not with noise, not with chaos, but with the quiet struggle of a family trying to understand a world without the man who held them together. This final section captures that fragile balance between grief and the first steps toward healing. The next morning is the hardest. The sun rises slowly, casting a soft light across the fields, but it doesn't bring comfort. The ranch looks the same, yet everything feels different. Amy walks outside first. She stands on the porch where Jack used to greet her with a warm nod and a gentle smile. Now, there's only stillness. Her eyes stay fixed on the horizon, as if wishing he might return just one more time. She whispers, "What do we do now?" But the answer doesn't come. Lou forces herself to keep moving, even though every step feels heavy. She tries to make breakfast, tries to arrange her thoughts, tries to lead the way she always has, but her hands shake every time she touches something that belonged to Jack. His mug, his gloves, his jacket hanging near the door. Each object feels like a reminder of the hole that nothing can fill. But Lou keeps trying because that's what Jack always did. He kept the family moving, even on days that felt impossible.